Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Pendulum, and congratulations to all Nigerians as we celebrate 25 years of uninterrupted democracy in the Federal Republic of Nigeria. I am Ajibola Ojesola, welcoming you to the program where we showcase political development in the country. It's exactly 25 years of uninterrupted democracy in Nigeria, and there's no way we are going to celebrate democracy without mentioning that freest and fairest election that we had on the 12th of June, 1993. Today on the program, we'll be looking at celebration of democracy in Nigeria vis-a-vis the role that late Chief MKO Abiola played in ensuring that we are here today celebrating democracy. But at the moment on this program, we'll be taking a very short break to bring you the soundbite of the presidential broadcast earlier today made by Mr. President Ajibola Tinubu. Then after that, we'll come back to the studio, and of course, you'll be meeting my guests on the program tonight.
Democracy aims to make leaders who conduct themselves as servants of the common good, not as viceroys of the narrow interests of the might. My dear compatriots, Nigeria faced the decision of untold gravity 25 years ago, whether to veer towards better destination or continue aimlessly in fog of dictatorship. We made the right choice then. We must continue with that choice now. As Nigerians, we must remind ourselves that no matter how complicated democracy may be, it is the best form of governance in the long run.
The program is still The Pendulum, coming to you live on Lagos television. I did say before that break that 25 years of uninterrupted democracy is our focus on the show tonight. We have with us at this moment on the program the former chairman of Eredo Local Council Development Area, who is equally an APC chieftain here in Lagos State, Adeniyi Saliu. Happy Democracy Day.
Happy Democracy Day to you.
Okay, so it is Democracy Day, whether we like it or not. 25 years of uninterrupted democratic governance in Nigeria. Let me start by asking you, on that very day of June 12, 1993, where were you, and would you like to share your experience with us as to what you witnessed, which propelled you to be a politician today?
Okay, I was Nekwe. I was a member of SDP.
Okay.
In fact, I was one of the canvassers. I also participated in registering, new members for the party, leading to the election. We also joined, in campaigning. Of course, we had our candidates then, for House of Assembly and governorship. Then I remember very well, it was Mr. Yomi Idu, that, was the flag bearer of the party in Lagos State. Against then Sir Michael Ojesola, who was, contesting
on the platform of NRC.
On the platform of NRC. Of course, we also had, late Chief MKO Abiola on the, carrying the flag of the SDP, while Malam Bashir Tofa, contested on the platform of NRC. So that's what it was. We canvassed and campaigned and voted. Of course, we were anticipating the results after, that of the assembly, the governorship, reps, and senate, about the announced. So we're waiting. First day, the second day. Of course, during the period, we also had the activities of, I think, Association for Better Nigeria, led by, I think it was Athon Zeribe. So we heard that they went to court to get an injunction. So from that point, we started feeling that something was wrong. And the results were being released in batches, and at some point they stopped. And it was just like taking a break and, expecting that they would come back, and that was it. So from then on, started, news started, coming out from everywhere, a lot of rumor, until I think the third day that the then President Ibrahim Babangida, came out on national broadcast to cancel the election. And that
He
was
said he
how-
annulled.
He said he annulled the election, well, of course. That was how the story of June 12, 1993 began. And from then on, it was struggle here and there, a lot of, people. And it was a major chaos in Nigeria, particularly in the southwest and Lagos State. A lot of protests it went on for so long, and we took part in some of them, and of course, listening to the speech of the president this morning, I'm glad I paid tribute to a lot of the major leaders of different initiatives.
His wife,
wife,
Professor Wole Soyinka,
all of them.
Professor Bolaji Akinyemi, Chief Anthony Enaro, Chief Abraham Adesanya, those who are still living, and some of them who are dead. Chief Bola Ige, Chief Ganiu Daudu, Chief Ayo Fasomi, Chief Gani Fawehinmi.
A lot of those deaths were a direct result of those actions that visited the annulment of that election, and and those were the ones that were recognized, they were known. A lot of people died on the streets of Lagos, on the streets of Calabar, on the streets of Port Harcourt, and everywhere in the country. They were unknown and unsung, therefore. So we also pay tribute to those people. I hope that they will be consoled by this speech this morning.
Okay. Looking at the component of Mr. President's speech this morning, of course, it touched on so many areas. How he was part of those who fought for democracy, and today is a direct beneficiary of democratic governance. But looking at the speech from beginning till the end, what message did it send to you as a Democrat?
Nation building. The story of our nation, the story of our country, our journey, to achieve this very expensive democracy. I call it expensive not in terms of naira and kobo, in terms of what it has cost us, in terms of lives that were lost, in terms of the hardship that we have had to bear over the years, and in terms of the sacrifices we are still making today. So it's very expensive. That's why we must preserve it. That's why we must guard it very jealously and do everything to ensure that it works. And I'm glad that his president spoke to the spirit of Nigerians, and a lot of people listened to that speech, and I hope that they were encouraged to begin to look forward to a new Nigeria, and I hope that they were encouraged to contribute their own quota to the birth of a new Nigeria. Particularly at this time that we have a president that is committed to resolving the problem from the roots and ensuring that any problem that is solved now is solved permanently.
Okay. Another paragraph of the presidential speech of today, quoting a particular paragraph now, where Mr. President said, "We have established a tradition of holding transparent, open, fair elections, give credence to our democratic bearing, that we have experienced peaceful transitions of government affirms our democratic temperament." Okay, looking at the quality of election that we had in 1993 compared to the ones that we have had since 1999, is there any basis for comparison? Because the one of 1993 was fair, was free rather, it was fair, it was devoid of ethnicity, it was devoid of sentiment. All Nigerians were united as one indivisible entity in 1993. Do we still have such elections these days?
Since 1993, a lot has happened to us. We have been divided along several lines, ethnic, religious, mention it. So it's a major work in bringing Nigerians together, and I hope that we'll get there on time to come back to that point where we only look at the quality of the candidates that are standing for election rather than where they come from, or which God they serve, or the affiliations we have with them. So in 1993, I think that we only saw quality. We were looking at the people contesting alone, and the priority mainly was on what they could deliver, and not where they came from or which, whether they were Muslims or
Christians.
Christians. So, and that really helped in making the Abiola decision. The last election that brought President Tinubu to power, of course, the people that stood for the election, of course, they had their own qualities. They were good people, and of course, equally capable. But Nigeria chose President Tinubu because of his antecedents, because of the things he had achieved, before now, and because of his capabilities. So when you have 10, 20 people in a room, of course, someone, they may all be good, they may all be capable, they may all be competent, but one will be better than all. So, and I think that's what Nigerians saw. But what part of the issues that we are addressing, deriving from that election, is the activities of some of us in placing their value on ethnicity in a way, and that almost caused a lot of problem, and almost cast a shadow on the result of that election. I hope that the next election will not be like that, and I want to commend again this government for bringing in, the old national anthem, and reintroducing it to Nigerians, because a lot of things that we want to be doing now should be addressing our values, should be speaking to our character as a nation, and because we are raising children that we want to totally, separate from the issues that we currently see in our society. We need to start catching them young, and even those that are old, those that are the Gen Zs, those are transiting from this to the next generation. They should begin to imbibe some of these new things that this current government is introducing, so that I can have a change of view, change of character, and our outlook too will change. And we understand that we need to love this country that we call our country. And totally, I have 3 recommendations that I think that we should begin to take very seriously. Number 1, there's need for a review of our NYSC program. You will notice that even in the United Kingdom, these conservatives are making it a pivotal part of their campaign to have youth service. They want an opportunity to have a debate in the outlook,
the thinking of their youth.
And we should look at that very seriously. 2, we should dedicate a week, at least in a year, once a year, for nation building. Just like we have our customer service week. We need a week for nation building. That would lead to the celebration of Democracy Day. So that will include everybody, both the private and the public sector. So that irrespective of the level you are attaining in life, you understand that there's an allegiance to your country. There's a need. The people we look at in the West is because they love and respect themselves. That's why they're able to build their nation. That's why they understand that there needs to be the rail system that will work, a road network that everybody can take, and they need to have a culture that will preserve some of their values. We need to have that. And we need to consciously put that in our system by drawing our attention to nation building at least once a year. So that a lot of lessons within that we could be taught to both old and young people, so we can embrace this, new Nigeria that the president is trying to build. And we were once very good people in this country. Whatever happened to us, a lot of us don't know, but we think that we can go back to being a very good nation.
When you look at the quality of campaigns and politicians that we have these days, in 1993, the message of late Chief M.K. Abiola centered on the people, how to improve their quality of life. But these days, we see that politicians often campaign, and when they get to power, contrary is what they do to their promise.
Usually the first thing to do to tackle that is standardization. We need to stop opening our political space to everyone. It's not an all-commerce affair, particularly when it comes to taking the mantle of leadership. Everything you see in life, anything that doesn't have a standard to it, it won't be run properly. Organizations, look, someone doesn't just wake up here and become a broadcaster. You need to go through a science training. You need to have basic qualification. A situation where anyone, school starts, can be anything. I'm not saying people shouldn't have the opportunities in life, but in certain fields, there should be, measurement as to what anyone can attain, deriving from, what. That's number one. Number two is we need to love and respect ourselves. I said that before. If you don't do that, you won't understand that there's a need to have a particular quality of life for yourself and for your people that you are governing. Otherwise, we just behave. Look, you enter people's service, even their own personal space. How do they keep it? When you put those people in offices, what kind of result would you expect? So those are the things that, and you see, when anyone leaves school, in our school in those days, we used to have subjects like moral instruction, civic education. All of those things have stopped. We need to reintroduce them so that a child from primary school will understand what responsibility is, what civic responsibility is, so that peradventure, that child becomes an adult and finds himself in a position of responsibility. He will understand it. He will have a recall of some of the things that they have imbibed in him while he was in primary and secondary and university. And those things will become manifest in the new responsibility that, nature and has bestowed upon him. So those are the things we need to live consciously. Those are the things we have taken for granted over the years. And the result
is what we have now.
Is what we have now.
Okay, I wanted to speak to this other paragraph of the presidential broadcast of this morning, and I'm quoting Mr. President here. As Nigerians, we must remind ourselves that no matter how complicated democracy may be, it is the best form of governance in the long run. We must also be aware that there are those among us who will try to exploit current challenges to undermine, if not destroy, this democracy for which so much has already been given.
The labor union and they are the best people to tell that story, because a part of that speech also spoke to the fact that no one has been
arrested or intimidated.
So we are in a democracy now where people enjoy a certain degree of freedom that no one will permit anyone to have in a military rule. So I think that's something, freedom is the first rule of life. You must be free to do certain things. And that's what the president, in his speech, has guaranteed. It's been guaranteed by our constitution. The president assured us that he will live by the every spirit of the provision of that constitution. Now, so we are in freedom. We can do a lot of things. We can talk. We can criticize the president. We can hold our elected officials to account. Those are the things you enjoy in a democracy. The other side of it is not something that anybody wants. So the president is telling us that we have something that we should value, we have something we should protect. The other side of it is like education and illiteracy. So if you say it's expensive here, try this one. So we don't want to try the other side. And we have seen it in this country. When Abacha was head of state, even during the first Buhari, we can compare the first and the second Buhari. We'll see the difference. That's the best example of military and democratic rule.
Yeah.
Do you understand? So and we have seen it. We have seen the first and second Obasanjo coming. We can compare the two. Do you understand? And we have seen the amount of freedom that has been guaranteed us by the current, administration of President Tinubu. So that's what Nigerians should appreciate and embrace. And we know that there are challenges that we face currently. It's tough for everyone, but we still need to work together to achieve, the kind of economic situation that we want in the country. There are a lot of reforms over the period since this president came to office, and we have started to see the result of some of them. It's not going to be very quick because the president is not resolving a situation of 2-3 years. It's resolving a problem that we have seen perhaps since our independence, and it takes time, it takes patience, it takes a lot of, a lot of thinking into it before we can, arrive at that solution.
Okay, as we begin to coast home now, what should be the role of the three tiers of government in strengthening our democracy, the executive, the judiciary, and the legislative arm?
Look, the kind of democracy that we practice, presidential type of democracy, which preaches particularly separation of powers. So everyone has a role that they play fair. In the judiciary, your watchword is integrity, is the last hope of the common man. So, in fact, as far as I'm concerned, judiciary has perhaps more work than the legislature and the executive. Because that's the last place that we run to, and we need to be guaranteed justice at all times. Then the executive, they have the role of leadership.
Okay.
And they should play it well. That's why we should. And those of us that are voting for them, because it doesn't end with them. If you put people that are not capable in offices, they don't do magic. Magic does not happen in governance. You only display your skill, your experience, what you have acquired over the years. If you don't have it, you cannot do it.
If you don't have it, you don't have it.
You don't have it.
So in 30 seconds, what should be the role of the lawmakers?
The lawmakers, one, they should be knowledgeable, because these things, they always go back to knowledge and skill. Because, look, if they are not competent, they are not knowledgeable, they won't be able to stand firm. They won't be able to check the executive. You can't check people that are smarter and more knowledgeable than you. What are you going to be telling them?
So knowledge is key.
Knowledge is key. They need to know what they have come there to do. Training, adequate training. They need to continue to expose themselves to knowledge, to education, to, look around the world and see how they do it in other climes, and bring it back home.
Okay.
And apply it to, nation building here.
I think that's a very good point to stop with this evening on the program, The Pendulum, coming to you live on Lagos Television. And I've been speaking with Adeniyi Saliu, former chairman, Eredo Local Council Development Area, and an APC chieftain here in Lagos State, has been speaking to the presidential broadcast of the celebration of Democracy Day today, 25 years of uninterrupted democracy in Nigeria. And whether we like it or not, we cannot forget the role of June 12, 1993 presidential election. We thank you very much for your time.
Thank you for having me
on the program. That's the show this evening. We thank you for watching. We'll see you some other time on The Pendulum. I am Ajibola Ojesola. Bye for now.